are going to go back to Haven, as you say, AVRL. And it seems to be the battleground of choice for all of these teams. I was talking about this the other day. I think that Haven is much more of an aim map. It's much more reliant on that sort of a strategy than maybe the other ones. They're a little bit more tactical based, but in Haven, it's very lateral. It's very flat comparatively, and there's no weird, wacky stuff going on with teleporters. So it'll be interesting to see how the aim is going to stack up as CORENINE start off on the defense.
Well, speaking of aim, I'm looking at Witcher again. He's the guy that really needs to step up the aim, right? Especially based on what we saw in just our upper bracket game just a little while ago now, as in the opening pistol sting. Just going to test out the defenses so far. Pretty standard for CORENINE as well in terms of where they're putting their members. In fact, this is about the most default that you really see. It's a kind of 2B, 1 into garage, 1C, 1A.
They are going to stack up on towards the A site for the attack on Sting. I think Unlucky might have got a read on that as he is going to fall back. Cypher Cam placed towards A short as Soodles leads the charge in. They do spot out one, check towards the short as well. Good discipline, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough as Rolex finds two before one is found back. They get three on the entries, and now there's 2 players left standing. DD Cream going to be looking for that spike plant. I think he goes down here to paint kills.
No, he's not, John. Brave and bold of him to choose the the shorty as well to start things out with. They're not going to get a plant at all now, thanks, Wolves. Has to do something. I don't think he just... There's no way he just runs away here. He's going to go for the 1v4 play because he has to. At this stage in the game, if you can just get a couple of kills, it's about building up towards your ultimate. It's about building up your bank account as well. Sure, you'll give away 200, but if you can get 2 kills, it's 400 going your way. You do it. You go for it. So thanks, Wolves. Just run, my man. Press that W.
I think to be honest, it's more about those ult points, right? Like it's more about denying that there, and he's going to be trying to look for anything he can find. And in fact, on the losing side, I've seen it before where the Brimstone just pops down the molly at the start of the round and they kill their entire team because it denies ult points to the enemies off the back of the pistol, which, you know, you may see, or they may just play sneaky little angles with those shorties that they're all buying.
By the way, not only does that, but also gives your team ult points for dying as well, so that's still something that's in the game. I think at some stage they may need to address that by perhaps taking away an ult point if you die to somebody on your own team. If it's maybe, you know, a team kill, that shouldn't award an ult point, kind of more punishing in that way. But in either case, Sting now 4 shorties, by the way. They're gonna have to really stack up quite hard as they go for aggressive players, and Ali will be there to receive them perhaps.
Okay, all right, they get walled off. And that's basically the end of that. They are just going to pop it out with the pistol to slow off from the Witcher. Doesn't stop them pushing in. And Soodles opens the fragging up on towards Rolex. A little bit of damage found, but the Witcher finds 2. Holding strong for now, but they've got the spike down. And that is a huge turn up for this eco.
It's going to be a lot of money going their way. I think just getting the spike down is maybe all the damage you need to do here. In fact, they'll all go down. And the 1500 has been worth it. They even got 1 kill there. That's going to be 1 re-bought weapon going into the next. And for Sting, well, I see no reason for them to really hold back here. They're going to be able to fully purchase up indeed.
Yeah, they should be fine with that. And we'll see how the economies are going to stack up. Already an operator being bought by Rolex there. Did go down. Was the only player to go down on the defense for CORENINE. So he'll just buy up into that, putting himself low for the next round, but hopefully they'll be able to save that one over.
So this is the kind of play that you do see as well. The one player that decided, okay, he was going to go for the earlier save. So in round 2, Rolex doesn't buy up. He stays on the pistol. And at this stage of the game, well, if he dies anyway, it doesn't matter. He was looking to upgrade. Having the operator this early on is going to be able to take away guns. That's 1 on the floor. DD Cree, say goodbye to your rifle.
Not going to be happy about that one. A nice aggressive push coming out towards a short. And that's the only impact you really need in the round. And the Sage, a crucial member of the enemy team to be able to take care of there. Monarch trying to owl drone towards a short, but Breach is pushed up. And this time, Unlucky might be able to strike gold with it. But no, they don't push in.
Well, this 5 on the defense is still looking fairly strong. Great of Rolex, by the way, to keep the attackers guessing. He's now going to be moving, already has, in fact, moved all the way back to C, watching over long. And this is kind of like a scare tactic. They reveal an operator over towards A, while Sting say, we're not going to push over there, and they'll push into the operator that's been rotated. At this point in the game, Shannon's the guy to look out for, because he is the sole defender onto B. But he has no idea what's about to hit him.
They're going to send in the recon bolt as well. Not broken. They aren't going to be spotted. Shannon sees one move in. Location revealed. The face is good. Monarch on 25 HP, but he's going to get the spike down nonetheless. Paint Shell to zone them away from that C side. And now the retake needs to come through. There is a flank coming in from Unlucky. No Rolling Thunder, but he's going to have those fault lines.
He's revealed himself as well. He fired off a shot, and now we have a position where we're trying to look for him. At this stage in the game, Monarch's already down. This post plant's not looking too fantastic. The most important player at this stage is actually going to be Sudol's, playing over towards the window. And look at this, the kills are coming in now, one alive. And it's going to be unfortunate. Rolex can't get too much more done, and he had the operator there as well. It's a lot of guns on the floor.
And not only that, they've donated it over to the enemy team. They've donated it over to Sting, and that's going to save them buckets of money as well. Unfortunately, though, they are pretty low on cash after having lost those first 2 rounds. They lost 3 members as well, remember, so they are going to have to put in a lot of money here themselves. It should be pretty even in terms of the arsenals they're able to strap themselves with. And it looks like we're down to a couple of Bulldogs and a Bucky on the defense.
The purchase did come through. But look at the money side of things, like you sort of mentioned here. I think both teams are actually hurting in some sort of ways. You have a couple players that are looking healthy, but for the most part, a lot of dudes under $1,000. And we know round 4s can be quite contentious as well. I mean, the fact that CORENINE is still able to purchase here, the fact that they got a couple rounds early on, this will be the last chance, so I can definitely smell an eco coming through for the team that loses, potentially.
Playing a little bit slower now. Sting channeling their inner CORENINE on this attack. As you were saying before, it's a disaster for the economy of the losing side on this one, so they have to be careful.
But I think you can play a bit slow if you are operating on the offensive angle, because at this point in the game, you're playing ops, you want to go for early picks. You want to play the 5v4s here, so you spend the first maybe minute of the game doing that, but about a minute's gone now, 40 seconds remaining, and this is where they're going to make some decisions. Rolex, super tight angle with the bucket. We've seen him do this before in the previous game, I believe. Except this time he will have players pushing directly into him. He will even find a 1v1 here. This could be critical.
The one-shot range of the Bucky is so important.
Boom!
You can play close and re-peek onto it as well with the right click. He's able to get one, and that isn't the spike, but it's a huge impact there. They can deny the paint shell zoning ability there. Rolex managed to pick up the Bulldog as well, gets the spray, the Molotov to zone him away, but Monarch peeks, lands the operator shot. Gangpin has to fall back on the shorts to try and play post-plant here. They have planted on the far side of the site, so they have plenty of info. But on the long, it's Monarch who will not stop there, will not stop with one. And they have the spike and a convincing post-plant.
Maybe a minor criticism here, but Rolex could have been a little bit more patient here, a decent off-angle to work with, and even an upgrade onto the Bulldog, like you mentioned. And this is not going to go too well for Ellie and the rest of the retake. And this is partially why, I think, for CORENINE, you really have to coordinate with your members a little bit tighter, especially the ones that are working on off angles. First of all, they know Rolex is there. He got a kill. He got a weapon upgrade due to Thanksoul's pushing into the 1v1. That's ideal for someone like Rolex who has a Bucky. But after that, you have the rest of your members coming through from basically defender spawn. You have your one decent flank from Rolex, and if he pushes before everyone else, which is what he did, that's unfortunately going to lead to a potential round loss. And now we're in a situation where we talked about the economy. Well, it's come true. It's going to be the eco.
Swinging on C long, but they're going to come up against some opposition. Rolex gets one. They trade it 1-2 times over. Then comes the molly to try and burn them down, but Zoodle's not going to let it phase him. They push straight through. And onto C site. Only the shorty for Witcher. We've seen him try this one before, and it didn't end well. The story was not good last time around.
Witcher, would you believe, has actually got 4 kills right now. He's only one behind the kill leader on his team. So he's already really made up for the losses from that previous game. We'll be here to haunt him for the rest of the evening, I'm sure. As the rest of these two members find themselves once again in a very difficult retake scenario. They want the double angle in here. They want the double entry. But with only pistols, and one of them has a shorty, I believe that's the Witcher, he really just has to go for exit frags. I think they're both waiting for exit frags. They'll know that surely one of them will get a catch here, and that's maybe all the damage they need to do.
They're all stacked up towards the end of C long. I think Witcher wants to peek in and clear it. That's going to give the info over to Unlucky that they're all playing on the long. Just getting info there, it's going to mean that
oh my god,
they can play a little bit more certain of themselves. As Unlucky might try and push on through, but they aren't going to really do too much. Actually, that's one.
That's worth. He's done it. Unlucky's managed to get just the one he required. I thought he was a bit unlucky there. I mean, no one pushed into him. You thought maybe, okay, on this exit, somebody's going to walk into a sight line. No, he has to be the one pushing in. And I was thinking he's not going to get a single kill here. He's just going to go down, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We expect him to just kind of die in that position. But just getting the one kill, I think, has made things a little bit more approachable now going into round number 6 here, where Sting has gotten 3 in a row. Rolex sniping on the defense. Did you see anybody in window? No one challenges.
No one's going to peek out. This could be the ult round that we've been waiting for. Oh, that was just unfortunate timing there, but Rolex spots out Doodles as he makes his way behind the cubby. Ali
a nutty shot.
Lands the head as well. Sliver peeks. And if you're going to face, then you've got to be confident in them. They get the heal over as well, and it's a very good start to the round. The res has to be invested. Showstopper comes out as well, and he
hilarious.
says no. I got that kill fair and square. Please don't take it away from me.
1-for-1 trade on the ultimates, but look, Rolex will get the one into Soodles as well, so eventually the patience does wear off. We kind of said that he was unlucky in terms of people peeking him previously. Well, that's going to be on the board for him now. CORENINE 5 versus 3, and already Sting, I think this is going to be a round that they'll have to maybe seed away. I want to really discover what their economy situations is like. I mean, they got a decent amount of cash, actually. DD Cream even has 6.1k in the bank, so is it a case where they can just afford to make a play here? I think money-wise they can, but perhaps the more disciplined thing would be to just say 3v5, not doable.
Interesting investment of the ults, though. I would say that the res for the Showstopper might be worth there, especially if they're wanting to go for a fast push on a subsequent round. However, they are going to be coming up against those Brimstone ultimates. Maybe not the Breach ultimate. We know that they don't actually use those on the defense, so it would be pretty tricky for that one to have an impact. But if they want to go for a rush, taking the Showstopper off the cards is actually pretty impactful, especially when it's out of garage.
Well, the discipline play does come through. Look, I respected John. They are not going to go for the 3v5 play at all. I think there was maybe potential where they explore the possibility of just 3-stacking towards the side and hoping for favorable numbers in terms of advantage. They also didn't really work enough to get out the utility from the defense, so holding on to the cash. And as mentioned, I mean, they had plenty of it anyway, but they just want to make sure they have a decent lead to work with in case something goes wrong in the future. In CORENINE, the very important round, I would say, as well, because they were looking at another potential eco situation if they didn't win that previous round, but now looking far more healthy. Rolex, and he get an opening frag again.
Looking for that operator pick yet again. 4 players stacked over towards A, and there is a peek happening, but they don't shift out for him to spot the shoulders. Unlucky. Not got that Rolling Thunder just yet, but the Recon Bolt not going to spot him either. It's actually just going to dart just tucked in around the corner, so they're not sure if he's there or not. They are completely grabbed up right now towards A main, but no one's really pushed out, so they haven't been punished for it.
Can I just say how awkward it is, by the way, that Rolex is the one sniping on the Cypher? Really, I think at this stage, Cypher, you want to be one of the players on the side sites, and the person sniping should be the Witcher. Or if they're going to do this, they need to swap agents, because I think having your Cypher be sniping mid, not ideal. Even though he can activate stuff on the sides, doesn't matter though. As soon as Rolex walks away, Sting decides to push in, and they'll find an empty site. However, the response is here. Thanks Force is looking for someone to shoot with the Showstopper. He's just going to have to bin it somewhere and not catch anyone.
It's more of a zoning tool at that stage. I mean, you're forcing everyone to fall back off the angles because they know that if you spot them, you're going down. So they fade away and allow the site to be opened up, and that's going to allow them to get in positions to get those frags in the post plant. That's exactly what happens towards that C side. And now Unlucky looks for the flank. You do have to worry about the Cypher down and right, but you've also got Monarch who's ready and waiting in the wings. They have control of most of the site now. The retake comes through. Shannon goes for the trade. The Witcher finds one, but his teammate goes down, and now it's 2 players left standing versus 4. Rolex lands one shot over onto Gangpin. Knows there's one.
He's got to run.
Taken down towards Gong. He needs to run away, you're right, and they are just going to fade it. 3 players left standing. The CORENINE take the L.
My goodness, he's really trying to play for a potential death there, and DD Green doesn't make it out, by the way. If Rolex dies, I think there's a real opportunity there where, sure, you peek in, you get the kill, but then the second peeker comes through from the other side of the box and gets you down. That's going to be your operator on the floor. When, by the way, CORENINE didn't have that much money to play with in the start, taking that kind of a risk is just not recommended. It's the second time I've seen Rolex now in the space of 2 games where he's taking unnecessary risks with a very expensive gun at a stage where he doesn't have a lot of money. So, well, his money being his entire team's money. Manages to stay alive though, so that situation doesn't happen, but Sting bring one back.
4-3 now, very, very close. We saw a close half last time around for CORENINE, but that was on their attacking side, remember? So having the achievement of this on the defense so far, going well, but they need to continue to roll it through and continue to try and have this sort of pressure.
Now he's going to be sniping C long. Now this is more what is standard, right? When you think about Cypher sniping, it's okay. We're going to have the Cypher solo play onto either A or C, and then he'll snipe over towards the long of either of those. CORENINE, we've talked about unlucky. He actually has the Rolling Thunder available, and look at where he's standing, by the way. This is giving us some real PTSD. Talked about him trying to stay alive for Rolling Thunder as well. That's an angle that you're not going to stay alive on. Luckily, he doesn't get pushed on.
Not this time around, so he might have it for the retake, and if it's on C site, this might have an impact as well. So,
that's a missed shot.
Burning down the midnight candle here. Not going to leave it till the last second.
Damn.
Ali just racks it up. It's a triple kill. It's easy for Ali. And they are going to shut down the push. 29 seconds left on the clock, and, well, you can't really do too much here. They waited far too long to be able to change tack, and the slows and the walls are still there. Not too much doing.
I'll be honest with you, if Rolex is not going to hit the critical shots, Ali will do it 3 times over. And now Sting will give this one up. 9 seconds remaining. Look, they've given up 3v5s. They're definitely not going to go in 2v5 at this stage. So that's just going to be it now. No more ultimates expended. Unlucky gets to breathe a sigh of relief that he's held onto a Rolling Thunder in a situation where you probably do anyway, and the Wolves, thanks Wolves, I don't know, just decides to give away his gun, saying, hey, look, it's the end of the round, I better just go and die.
Yeah, I mean, it's an offering, really, for the next round. You know, you're trying to garner favor with the Valorant gods, with the Radionite gods.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe it'll cost them the entire map for that to happen. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe this is the round that Thanks Wolves goes absolutely crazy after just giving his life away. No, really, if you think about it, John, to offer yourself to the Radionite gods, you have to die to the bomb explosion. That's the only way you do it.
Oh, that is true. It's interesting, actually. There's because it's unsure as to what the spike actually is doing, right, in the lore. My theory is that it is denaturing or destroying all Radionite, because it doesn't kill plants, it doesn't kill structures, but it kills agents, right? And what are the agents? They're
made
all
of?
Radionite infused operators, right?
I thought some of them just have tricks. What about Cypher? He's just got gadgets.
Yeah, but he has like technology on him that is infused with Radionite, right?
God.
Like there's something
like
there. There must be.
Oh my goodness. I did say unlucky. He's either going to get an ace there or he's going to get fragged. Well, he gets 2. I'll say that the 2 for 1 is worth it. I'd like to imagine that the Radionite explosion just makes Breach's arms go silly, and that's about it. But that would be maybe wishful thinking. Speaking of which, Sting with 2 alive. They'll need to get a couple frags here.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing 2-man Breach skin incoming, I guess. That'll be quite the one. 2 versus 3 on this post plant now. The time run down just a little bit, but they managed to get onto this A site. The Witcher swings out wide. They're not guarding this connector. They're not holding the angle either. And he has the advantage on the angle. Monarch, he will be able to see the spike from here. Actually, is it? Is he going to be able to? They are just going to stick the defuse. He's not even clocked it. Okay, sure. He had the ultimate as well. He had Hunted Furies.
Yeah, I think the one option there was if he Hunted Furies and stops the defuse, maybe they play just for the timer, and then, well, the spike explodes, and that's the round victory. But maybe a couple of regrets there as well going into the next round now. Number 10, it's going to be looking like full weapons abound. Look at that, 6 ultimates actually across for both teams. Still decently close. I mean, you'll say 5-4. This is, by the way, the second game in a row we've had a 5-4 at this stage.
Yeah, it's nice to see this, and remember that CORENINE had a stronger attacking half on the last game, so it's a very good result for them to be able to get any sort of a lead here on the defense. Question is, will they be able to capitalize on it? Of course, playing up against a slightly different composition, the Sova will be able to get them more info for Sting.
Do you think the Witch is popular in Korea? Maybe if Wolf's here, he can still tell us, but I just don't know if we have time to show it anyway. That's the Hunter's Fury now for Monarch. He was saving it for this moment. He was saving it for the moment where he can clear out into Garage, but they're not even pushing in that direction. I'm getting flashbacks now. Where you're just using ultimates and not pushing. Unlucky is, I would say, fairly fortunate there wasn't a second peeker there, because otherwise he would have died. He's probably still dead.
They are just going to cam it. Okay, they are just going to get that info immediately. And Unlucky gets spotted out. A nice early pick there for Sting. They turn the corner, get the frag, and once more Rolling Thunder out of the equation.
Oh, I can't believe it. I got nothing else to say. I'm just beating a dead horse at this stage, or a dead breach. I should probably say Sting. 4 players up. Orbital Strike available. Their post plant could be really good here, but they would need to actually get onto a site. 25 seconds remaining. This is more indicative of how CORENINE play their attacks. Not so much Sting, but they got to go now. They got to go to C.
Oh, got to push out of the garage pretty fast as well. In comes the ultimate. Shannon gets his place, but it's not going to worry him. Not at all. In fact, it gives him security on the right-hand flank. He can just peek out. Soodles is there as well to try and trade it. They have not got rid of this Brimstone just yet. Oh, that was so lucky. The shoulder just tucking away. But
Garage.
Cream will finally be able to take it down. Garage, the Witcher, is going to hold that one down as they activate the trap. 2 versus 2.
Well, Nero Theft is going to make things a little bit more difficult now. Okay, with that information, you've confirmed, most importantly, no one at log. I think that's the biggest key here. CORENINE now rolling to first, gets that opening pick, can't find the second one. They lined up for Gangpin. What are you doing, CORENINE? Just back to back there, allowed him to get a double kill off a couple of decently placed shots. I thought CORENINE were going to get that one.
Honestly, there were so many engagements around the C box there that I was just so confused by. I mean, first of all, the fact that they didn't fully clear Gangpin off the... Sorry, not Gangpin. That they didn't clear Shannon off the site completely already, and the Sage peeked with an orb out. And you're just like, why have you not realized that there's a Brimstone there, right? Why have you not figured that out? God. He was right in your face. And then they just, and then they managed to get the kill in the end, but then they're just walking around it like it's this... Honestly, I was very confused.
Shannon stayed alive for far too long, I think. They still... I was going to say they still win. I mean, Sting still win, being that they didn't kill Shannon very quickly, but wasn't clean. If it wasn't for the massive lineup at the end, I think CORENINE do get that. So that's a round that maybe slips away for them. Does give us a 5-5 game. I'll take that one. Monarch sniping over towards C. There's actually quite a few members stacked over to C. I wonder if this is going to create vulnerability. Sting at this stage in the game have not committed anywhere. And if they go into A, and Unlucky decides to be aggressive again, that's a free take, a free spike plant, and no Rolling Thunder once more for the retake.
Looks like middle will be their choice for this one, though. They have control pretty completely here. They haven't peeked any of the angles. Rolex on the defense.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's already the opening pick they found. In 35 seconds, they're going to ult to go for the res. Vision blocking. There's the Sova recon bolt as well. Rolex is going to be seen completely. The showstopper's there, around the corner. The Rolling Thunder comes through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But that's going to slow them. They don't go down, and they will still be able to get the spike down there. A lot of ults invested on this retake, but really not much found in response. Nero Theft going to see them all right. Trying to clear the angle. 180 is able to trade himself.
Oh, that was a lot of action in a short amount of time there, John. Ultimates abound. Unlucky, unfortunately, doesn't get his ult off at the same time. There's Shannon there. Well, maybe it's Shannon's fault, really. Unlucky got a decent Rolling Thunder, but Shannon just too slow. Coming through on the orbital strike quicker now with the shots into Thanks Wolves. They got 2 more to go, though. GD Cream's going to get Shannon down, and now Unlucky has a 1v2 that he needs to win, but he's not going to be able to. I think even if he gets 2 kills, he doesn't have time for the defuse, so kind of unwinnable. Sting will get 6.
They use the Rolling Thunder. but they didn't retake. They used the Hellfire as well, and it was nearly perfect. It was nearly spot on, but just a little further back, and they'd have had 3 kills, no problem. Unfortunately, though, CORENINE invest huge amounts of ultimates.
It needed to be faster. It's not just the fact that maybe, okay, a little bit further back, but if it was just quicker, you're seriously slowed down when you're dazed by the Rolling Thunder. So you can't escape from the Orbital Strike. At that stage, it would have been 3 confirmed kills, and CORENINE would have had the easiest retake of their lives. But to spend that many ultimates and get nothing out of it, it's a little bit unacceptable. As Ali, once again, just holding on to Garage, and, well, just extra utility that CORENINE, or rather Sting, will be happy to receive and not lose anyone to.
They'll try and spray down through the doors, and they're not really going to get too much for it. A little bit of utility baited out, but Rolex playing aggressive up A long.
Again, he doesn't need to do this.
This is something that they haven't been strong on some rounds, but on others they really have, is pushing out these angles where they know there's no players versus them, and gaining that intel and gaining that security. So you can see now Breach has moved all the way over to the side of B site, and they can continue to pressure it on out.
It does get the 1 kill. No one goes for the refrag, though, and I don't know. That time it does work out for Rolex, but otherwise I think he's just trying to do a Jet cosplayer there where he thinks he can just get away in time. Ali. Oh, it's going to just be the 1 kill. They still have 2 members alive over towards C. Window control being gained here. The smoke is going to just make sure that there's not going to be any re-entry there from the Witcher. And in fact, even look at this. I think the spike's going to get planted now. Shannon is just hiding. He comes out at the right time. That was perfect timing from Shannon.
Gonna stop the spike, and they're gonna know that they're gonna go for it. Shannon is able to even them up on the half. The defense finds 6, and now they're over to the attacking side. This is where they had a little bit more strength in the previous map, in the previous best of 1. So hopefully they're gonna be able to take Sting to task here.
It's pretty nuts so far, the fact that we've seen 2 back-to-back 6 and 6s in that first half. This is something I don't really see, though. You know, when I looked at NA and EU, no one really goes for shorties in the opening pistol. And that makes a little bit more sense on the defense, but if you're DD Cream and Thanks Wolves here, you realistically are just hoping somebody walks into you, and you get a 1-for-1 trade. That's about it. But we've also seen this be completely awful when you're in a retake scenario, and it is just the wrong gun for doing anything.
Yeah, it's not optimal. It's far from it indeed. But
and they had to pay
now
for it.
The signs have switched. Absolutely, it is. It is what it is.
I wouldn't use it for free. No, that's a lie. I would actually use it for free, but it depends on the situation. Sting. Oh, it's actually, sorry. It's CORENINE on the attack. So basically, let's go to bed for about a minute. We'll wake up and then they'll finally push.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee, and I guess it'll be brewed in about when they start pushing.
Oh boy, two rounds and I'll have an instant noodles ready to go here. About 40 seconds to go, and then CORENINE will make the decision. That's actually going to be a recon arrow revealing maybe just the 1 player, so it's not really a lot of information. I think this is quite interesting that they've got both a Sova and a Raze in the defense. Here we go. Thanks Wolves have been waiting for this moment. He's got 2 good shots. He's peeking a little bit early. Gets the first one, but the fault line's going to just make it a little bit too hard to get the second.
Did do a lot of damage though. The heal was there, and Unlucky will be able to regain on that, but so close to being a really impactful double. Even with the fault line, if he'd have strafed up maybe a little bit wide, he might have been able to get a reload off, but now the retake has to come through from Sting. 4 versus 4. They do trade it. Pseudos will be breaking the wall towards Heaven. They are going to stack up towards Connector as well. 3 players looking to push on out. 1-for-1 so far on the retake. Shannon holding strong as they push all the way across site. Gangpin goes down to Rolex as the Witcher cleans up the final kill. CORENINE. This is the attack we wanted to see from them. 7 rounds on the board.
Fancy feat there from Rolex, by the way, to dodge out all of those frenzy shots. You can see at the end there when everyone's just trying to get a couple pistol upgrades. Everyone's like, damn it, there's too many shorties on the floor. Where are the ghosts at? And the shorties are going to come back out now. Soodles and Monarch. Look, thanks, Wolves. He got the 1 kill there. I think he should have gotten the second one, but the day's just a little bit too strong. And would you look at this? Are CORENINE actually going to do this? I don't believe it. They're going to go for an eco as well. They just won a round and they're using none of this money. I'm thinking this is just a little bit too cocky. This is too overconfident.
I think it's an economic play. I think it's a strategy.
I think they'll
We'll
lose.
see if it pays off, as you say. Well, we'll have to wait and see there. Unfortunately, they're not going to lose the first one. They go for trades as well, but they are going to trade 1-for-1 on both of them. Those pistols doing them all right for now. No one being able to quite get in on the flank. Rolex cleans it up with a frenzy. The wall is down on the defender spawn, and it leaves them one person on the retake.
Okay, let me reiterate. They should lose, but they're not going to be losing anymore because Thanks Wolves has got this shorty that will do absolutely nothing on the retake. The problem here is you are gambling. So that's I think the biggest problem I have with that is it's just basically a coin flip scenario where if you just had a couple of Spectres, look, I'll say if you want to keep 2 Ghosts there and have 3 Spectres, worth. Sure, I'll give that one to you, but 5 pistols, a little bit of light armor. I think the light armor is maybe the biggest difference here. But 5 pistols is really risky. And if they lose this, it's the risk-reward ratio, John, that I have the big problem with. Because if you lose it, the risk is so high for losing, and the reward is, I don't think, worth it.
So this is what I'm talking about with, I don't think that the economy is solved yet. You know, I think that going for a save is a viable strategy. And, well, we saw it pay off there. You have, you know, you're basically creating a bigger advantage for yourself than the previous pistol round. But on the opposite side,
greedy.
you can force into it. You can force into it, right? You can force into that round, and you're looking for, and then you have a massive advantage over them because they're on crappy buys, they're on light armor and small pistols, as opposed to being on, you know, a couple of Spectres, a Bulldog maybe. The benefit you get at the other end of it is a full gun round on the 3rd round, and so now they're even Stevens in terms of the arsenal into round 3 for the half.
I think you get a decent gun round on the 3rd anyway. This is the thing where, look, my problem still is, and without turning this cast into a bit of a podcast here, I'll get over this topic soon, but my point is, look, you can't confirm the 2nd round. If you were trying to buy for the 3rd round by going for a save now, you haven't even confirmed the 2nd round yet. You're trying to sprint before you've even started to walk. And I think a lot of teams will be punished there where they're not even going to get the 2nd round where you can kiss that 3rd round goodbye. But now, that 3rd round has come. It's gun rounds, full weapons on for both teams. A decent amount more money for CORENINE because of that earlier play.
And clear the angles. Shannon checking it. Nice discipline there for CORENINE. They get an open plant as well. That's going to be visible from both short and long and under heaven in the post plant. So it's going to be very tricky to retake. The Wolves. It's going to try. Nonetheless, the paint shells not really finding too much, but it's 5 versus 5. A full displacement coming out. A Sting just back completely off. They're stacking up, though, to go for this retake. The Molotov there to try and slow them down. Sprays are easy. They pin them in, and they're going to trade it very, very nicely. However, 2 players go down in the meantime.
Sting will save here, yep. 2 members alive versus 3, and no real inroads towards the site itself. Time's running out. The fact that they still maintain 2 members is very important. Possible contact here, but I don't think anyone's going to bump into each other at this stage of the game. But the real criticism I will come through with, and I'm gonna nitpick here because I can, is Shannon shouldn't be playing under heaven when he has an orbital strike. He should be playing long, and the reasons are quite obvious. He has an orbital strike. You need to stay alive. That's the one guy that will confirm the post plant for you no matter what happens. If the rest of your team dies in the post plant, you can still deny the defuse and still win the round off just that ability alone. So the fact that he plays aggressive angles and puts himself in a position where he can die, to me, is bad.
I would tend to agree with you on that. I think that playing around ultimates is something that hasn't been sort of fully figured out by a lot of teams, especially transitioning from a game like Counter-Strike, where everyone is essentially at the same power level, if that makes sense. No one really has that much of an advantage, but when there's one player who has that ultimate ability, who will have more of an impact to be in a certain position, I think that teams need to sort of figure out how they're going to flow around that and try and manipulate. You know, did he need to be the one with the spike at the start, right? Like, did he need to be the one to plant?
I can tell you right now, CORENINE have certainly not figured it out, because even in their last game, they were just blundering ultimates, and they had a stage where they had 5 ultimates available when they're still losing. Again, very indicative of a team that just doesn't know what they're doing with those ults. They have the 2 big ones, are Rolling Thunder and Orbital Strike. They couldn't even really coordinate those 2 properly last time. We've spoken to how unlucky just doesn't stay alive for them, but here we go. Rolling Thunder in. This is what we want to see.
Gonna clutch away as well. 1 found, and they trade it, but 2 found in response. A nice start to the push. The spike makes its way onto site. Slowed down a little bit, but not really too much to worry about. They have the hold on towards long still as well. And they can just cover themselves off. Beautifully done. They lost 1 on the push, but not to worry. They still have 4 left.
And this is where Shannon gets to play a little bit far back. He's still taking an angle where he might run into a 1v1 against a player. I mean, not right now because there's no one there, but typically you will have a defender possibly trying to get for the flank. Thanksful's in early, and DD Cream gets an opening kill. This is possible, but unlike he's collected 3 so far on this round, and Rolex will confirm the last one. Sting, unfortunately, can't get enough kills, and even if they did, I think Shannon being over towards long would have prevented the defuse, and CORENINE at this stage of the game, we're very much looking to win that 4th round and a half, and scoreline 10-6.
I mean, Sting lost the last game 13-6. They're getting flashbacks right now, and it's not pretty. They're going to be down on their luck as well. A Bucky being bought, a Bulldog as well, and Cream needs to decide what they're going to go for. It looks like they're going to invest into the Vandal as well. So they do have some firepower, but it's going to be tricky. It's not ideal. And if they lose this, they're on death's door, really.
Yeah, they're going to have to eco. It's either going to be 2 force buys in a row or an eco in an actual gun round. That's the decision that Sting needs to be making at this stage in the game. And CORENINE can be feeling a lot more comfortable, especially with the opening kill into Thanksfuls, who desperately needed to at least get 1 kill there. The Molotov will slow things down. That's good news.
They are going to drop the ultimate as well to try and slow a push coming in from short, but they've already managed to make their way fully on towards the B site. Up he goes. Not going to get shut down. They didn't want to actually go for that frag, but the satchel is there. The Sova Dart is going to keep out wide, but the Witcher is going to be able to claim it. Cream gets confused by the fact that there's more than 1 person in front of him. And he can't get that frag done. Soodles now last standing for Sting versus 5 unlucky swings. And it's a clean sweep, flawless for CORENINE.
Can I just say, by the way, before CORENINE confirmed the last 2 rounds, yeah, that... Look, it's taken me a while to get to this point, but I think it's time for me to say that Sting's composition for me is not ideal. I briefly touched off on playing Raze and Sova at the same time. My problem with that is currently, at least in the Western meta, Raze and Sova are played in the same position. That is one player's role. If you are that player, you learn both agents. You don't play them both at the same time because they are sacrificing a breach here. And I think not having a breach in this current meta is not a sacrifice you want to make.
It's so useful. It has some of the most impact into every single round. So they have missed a beat there potentially, and they're finding out all about it on their defense.
It'll be
like,
next
even though he
for
wasn't
them.
able to use those ultimates super effectively, the Rolling Thunder still had an impact.
Well, Sting will be having to think hard about this now as, you know, loser exits the Invitational, and there's not going to be another tournament anywhere in the world until the game launches officially on June the 2nd. And CORENINE, 2nd round soon. I tried to make that work, I couldn't, John. I'm sorry, 2 more rounds is what they need, is what I'm trying to say. And Rolex, look, they get the 1 onto Monarch to start with.
That's a good start, certainly. Rolex able to get the spray down there. 28 health. The range on those, I hate that. I hate that so much. That's flashbacks to Solo Cube.
Oh
Rolling
my
Thunder
god!
The beast guy, Cream! Okay. Sheriff's in town, and he's up for a hunt. Soodles able to get the Bucky shot as well. The eco frags coming through, and it's brutal. CORENINE left, 1 player left standing, and Sting, they're not out of it just yet. They still have some firepower at their backs.
What an insane round. What happened there? They didn't even really have the best guns or equipment or anything. We just saw pretty much an eco coming through that resulted in a win. That was nuts coming through from Sting, who are really just holding on at this stage of the game. I think they're still on death's door, but they're on borrowed time. They only need to confirm 5 more to at least put themselves at match point and then potentially go for the win. And that's what they need to be able to do in this borrowed time now for Sting. 4 ultimates available. They have the resources, John.
I'll tell you what happened in that last round, AVRL. Cream happened. Jesus Christ.
I Cream.
Shot from that guy. Absolutely insane. Okay. Thanks for sharing with the group. But they managed to just hold down that angle. Nobody checked left, and he just popped the heads. And there's not really too much you can do in that situation other than take the L.
No one looked at him. No one decides to look left there. What are you gonna do? You're gonna double peek in towards B. You should have one looking left, one looking right, but no, everyone looked right. And Monarch Okay, you've stopped anyone pushing the garage, but I think at this stage, the CORENINE's like, we'll take that ultimate away, that's fine.
Trying to gather some info, maybe forcing some footsteps, or
so it's a very expensive recon dart then.
Yes, it goes through walls though, which is pretty cool. That one doesn't need to though. That's going to spot out the Cypher on the attack for CORENINE, but they're stacked up towards short. I think they might have figured something out. They are going to drop the molly there, but in comes the fault line.
That's nice.
Stun up, but it's not going to matter. Soodles lands one, lands two. Finally, the Doombot takes him down, but nobody checks the angle that they fault lined, and it's going to prove disastrous. Nobody likes to look left on CORENINE, it seems.
Monarch actually survives against the aftershock there. A little bit lucky, less lucky when Unlucky walks through. The 777 there and DD Cream for 1. 3 versus 1 and CORENINE are not going to be able to plant. That is another round rescued for Sting. Again, I think they're on borrowed time here, but they're making the most of this. 2 in a row when I thought they were on death's door. And CORENINE, the last 2 rounds are just evading them. I'm actually concerned about where their economy stage is at, because they're going to have to eco soon if this keeps going poorly.
Quite frankly, I'm worrying if CORENINE know how to cross the road. Don't think they're looking both ways. Certainly, they might be in imminent danger, but if they're going to come a cropper to the sidelines, they have to be very worried, especially if you're going down to Soodles, who is fault lined. He just tapped those shots. You knew he was there, and nobody faced. Nobody cleared the angle. Oh, it's so unfortunate.
So the good news is they have plenty of money. So despite losing that, I think they're going to have to cop at least maybe 2 more round losses before Sting can force an eco against CORENINE, and that's probably the ideal time as well, by the way. If Sting forces an eco after 2 rounds, they'll be able to put themselves up to 11, and they will be all tied up even Stevens here, and CORENINE will be really shaking their boots wondering what the hell just happened in these last couple of rounds. They're probably wondering that right now anyway. It's not been looking too good, but I think they can rescue this one. They're still in the lead for a reason. They still look like the better team overall.
They just need to regain a little bit of that discipline now. They need to figure out what they want to go for. Maybe A site, not the best of luck for them. Maybe going back to basics, take B, take C, try and keep that pressure, and that seems to be what they want to do. They'll hear Monarch drop. That Doombot will send him back a little bit, but no, he's towards the connector, and that gives the game away. It gives the opening frag as well. They push up on C-Long as well. Showstopper comes out to try and slow them down, and it will take a kill. A little bit of damage found as well onto the rest of them. Dropping the Doombots across, but where do those frags come from? Okay, they've got the full flank coming in, and they got the frags coming out. They get the res off as well, and now we're into a 2 versus 3. The retake, very low HP as Sting on the last legs.
Well, it's technically only 1 on the site so far, so it's a 2 versus 1, and they can force a couple of these in a row. Witcher has no idea. Oh my god, he's got his gun barrel showing. Gangpin's got this easily. Now they just have to take care of the long players. Look at this rotation coming through the alley from the back line. That is the most important thing right now.
So the Witcher was trying to go for a cool play. Trying to play up on the boost on top of the box. But the wall doesn't go over the spike. So they did not get elevated. It would have been great, but it was not to be. And Sting, off the back of that, are able to turn it around and get the defuse.
It's even worse than that, John. He even had his gun barrel showing, so it's like, hang on, why is there a gap in the ice wall here? And then second to that is like, I wonder if there's some of that. Oh, there it is. That's a gun barrel. That's confirmed now. Just wasn't even watching the right direction. We flamed him for not having any kills last game. Well, he's made up for that because he's not the bottom fragger. Still, though, he's responsible for many hilarious things happening to his team, and not necessarily for the right reasons either. In this case, we're definitely not laughing with him, but for CORENINE, it's 11-9. They can still get those last 2, but I feel like every time I say this, I'm losing more and more faith in them.
Okay, they're resetting. They're going to A. They're making noise, so potentially a faster push than we're used to. They're going to pre-fire the angles as well, but maybe they're trying to sense if this is a bait. They have yet to rotate fully. Cypher actually leaving that B site, going towards the Sage, and they're giving ground. And they have decided to come back here as the fault line does stun out Gangpin.
I'm gonna be honest.
They're putting a lot of presence, and now the rotate comes.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because they've now forced a lot of rotation going towards A, but as soon as they stop shooting and making noise, Sting are like, I don't think we're going to fall for this one. So they're going to reset here as well. So that's kind of just been nearly a minute worth of work, a minute worth of just banging the drums, and no one's coming to dinner right now. They'll still make the play towards A anyway. They decided, well, we've put in the work, we might as well go in. Here comes the execute.
They get the smoke up towards the heaven. They need to check left. Please, someone check left. But the traps are there. Oh, it is brutal. They cross, and they will not be crossed. Sting hold absolutely firm on this A site. Beautifully done. Rolex finds one in response, but with 23 seconds, he has to try and find a little bit more than that. Will try and peek out wide. Actually managed to make it across behind the cyber cage. Well, they've figured out that he's crossed back. I don't think they have, but he's only got 13 seconds to clear the rest of them. Needs to be an ace, but Gangpin says no. 4 kills on the round for him, and Sting, they are indisplaceable on this A site.
Well, let's take a look at their money right now. Oh, God, I thought they were going to have to eco after 2 more rounds that go Sting's way, but they are just so resilient when it comes to the bank account. Daddy's pumping them cash in, and Rolex is on 20 kills right now. Sting still have 1 more round to go before CORENINE absolutely must eco. And this is getting really tough now to watch CORENINE just falter at the last hurdle. They are slipping over the banana peel in this race currently because they're so close to finishing, but Sting are catching up.
Oh no, thanks Wolves at the back of sight. Has the operator, no, the timing on that is so unfortunate for them. They're gonna drop down the sky smokes as well. The paint shell will slow it down a little bit, but a lot of damage found in response. The flashpoint is gonna slow it down completely. They're able to isolate it as well with that showstopper. They get that Molotov, stopping anyone else from pushing into the location. Neural Theft is there, and CORENINE rides strong once more.
That is a brilliant orbital strike, though. It will get 1 kill into the Witcher. But the spike has been planted, so that's the good news for CORENINE, who now get to play a post-plant. Most important member now will be Shannon. He needs to stay alive. Confirms that so far no one's pushing him on the angle. Still not a fan of him playing the angle in the first place because he could get pushed. Monarch gets resurrected as well, so now the timer is ticking down steadily. 3 members on 2 on the site.
Oh dear, he gets instantly shut down, and unlucky trade 1 for 1 as well. But Ali is there, tries to flick left. They're trading yet again, and now it's 2 versus 1. The Sky Smoke is there. He's going to stick it, but the Orbital Strike is in. Half of it found, doesn't manage to escape. And CORENINE put themselves on match point, finally, with huge investments, able to get that 12th on the board, but they still need 1 more, AVRL.
And it's come down to the man that does not wish to use ultimates. Unlucky. I lie, he's actually used plenty at this stage in the game, but I'm holding on to old storylines and narratives at this stage of the game. That was defense, this is offense. And I think at this stage in the game, if you push in, you execute with the Rolling Thunder, that to me, realistically should be a free site. Sting, they're at the stage now where I think, you know, that was their 1 buffer. They could afford to lose that one. They can't afford to lose anymore. I'm a little surprised that Monarch would decide to go for a Judge. He's now going to rotate. Oh no, he's gone for the Judge anyway. Okay, well, we'll see what he does.
That is potentially last round, so maybe he's trying to play up close or use it as a fallback. We'll have to keep track of that. If he had 2 guns, I'm not too sure.
If it's potentially the last round, then he's just accepted they're about to lose. I don't think that would really be a good idea for Sting.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe not. Monarch scouting out towards the window. Will not see anyone there. The spike moving a little bit more towards C, though.
Well, no one's actually playing the long angle right now. CORENINE don't realize that. You can see the pings coming through. They're saying, okay, it's probably back of C or someone hiding behind box. They're stacking quite hard now. You also did see there, by the way, the recon bolt coming through. Doesn't reveal anyone. That is some information for Monarch to say it's not grouping over towards Garage, but it is major grouping over towards long. Utility, Rolling Thunder to clear, and Wolves are in trouble.
He's going to send himself back and send them away as well. Going to clear that out, but I guess Flashpoint is still not gone down, however, and into the slow. Able to peek out and get 1. A lot of damage found, and Cream strikes from the back of sight. They haven't zoned them away. They've invested too much, and they didn't get on fast enough. And Rolex now left last man standing. Sting looking dominant in this round. I don't think they're going to be able to take it away, and it's right down to the wire.
You know what I think the mistake was there? Monarch, or rather not Monarch, CORENINE did not clear Garage. They did not show any presence Garage, and they did not have that extra angle to work with. The fact that Ali gets a kill... Sorry, is it Ali? No, I'm talking about Thanks Wolves. Thanks Wolves gets a kill. The fact that he gets a kill while being Rolling Thunder dazed is kind of unacceptable to me. Now, we know that's possible, But realistically, that should be the entry for Core9. Confirm that player. Don't lose anyone on the entry. Get that plant down. And it took them a while. And at that stage, if you play for the post plant again, you should be in a very similar situation to where you were, minus obviously the orbital strike. But I think just not having garage control really cost them that round.
I'll tell you, the pivotal part of that round was Cream at the back of site, able to get the slow orb down in front of the push towards his teammate, towards Thanks Wolves. So they couldn't actually flank in and fully get that kill. They would have had to spray down in the wall. And at that point, they were vulnerable from everywhere else because they wouldn't be holding that angle. So I have to give that round entirely to Cream to keep Sting alive in this.
And by the way, Core9, a few members now have basically bought to 0. So if Sting actually win this one to force us to 12-12, I was going to say they'd be in financial trouble, but really we would just be in the overtime and everyone gets 5k again, so ignore that point, but still, Core9. I think this is the round. I think this is the one where it's win it or Sting. Just going to have a lot of momentum going for them. That's all I got for you.
Do or die time. They need to step up. Remember, it is tournament life on the line at this stage. You don't want to be dropping out the Invitational. Oh. Okay, we're back in.
Speaking of dropping out.
Here we go, goodness me.
You just cursed one of the observers there. You just knocked them out the game.
I was so worried. I was so worried, but we are back in, of course. But it's so down to the wire at this stage, right? You are fighting for your tournament life in Group A.
Resurrection available for Core9 as well. Look, they've gone C a couple times now. Once they were able to succeed with the ultimates available, but now it's not looking good last round. This is a decent opening so far. Check the angles there. Gungpin's got 2 so far. Might be good for 3. Won't get it this time around. Shannon will get it instead. And now the retake scenario, DD Cream. He was the MVP of last round, but he dies a little too early now to defend. It's 1 versus 2. The spike should be planted. My goodness, Rolex is taking his damn time, but it will go down.
He's just trying to find it. He's just trying to navigate his way around the site. Pretty tricky. Has the camera up, but Monarch is playing from heaven. Going to look for the head. Oh, just skirting around. Trying to play these angles. Trying to wait for those exposures should they be found. But discipline being shown right now for Core9 to try and win it and stay alive. Rolex very, very low now. 72 HP. Not going to find it, but he finds 1. Monarch can't quite get it done. And on death's door, they falter finally. Sting go down and Core9 stay alive. 13-11. A lot closer.